Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy. And with the anniversary of Marvel Future Fight being one of the best things to ever happen to this game, I've had a lot of returning players message me, let me know that they're returning to the game after not playing for like 1 or 2 years, and they're wondering if the paywall characters are actually worth purchasing. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because we're in a very interesting situation when it comes to Marvel Future Fight. And I think it's a good place to be, honestly. It's a great place to be, in fact. So I want to talk about the paywall characters that you can get from the biometric selector or the X gene selector. However, I do want to point something out here, okay? If you're free to play, please don't come and tell me like, oh, these characters should always be trash because they're paywalls and you can't get them. Please don't do that, okay? Because what I'm gonna say here, I think, is fair and just. So let's talk about the paywall characters, because this anniversary has brought back a lot of people who are willing to spend money on the game, and it takes money to keep the game going. That's just what it is. It's a business, okay? So thank you, Netmarble, for all the rewards. Thank you for improving the game drastically, so much so that I'm willing to spend hundreds of dollars on your game again. Thank you, Future Fight team. You guys are doing great. Keep it up. However, I would like to see you start buffing some of these paywall characters, because from the 45 paywall characters that people can pick up from this selector here, only about a handful of them, maybe like less than 10, are worth buying, because the other ones are just kind of like meh or just kind of garbage. So Future Fight team, I would say maybe every 2 months, if you could like buff one of these guys and sneak them into an update with a uniform or awaken them or something along those lines, it would be very beneficial for your bottom line, and it would give paying players like myself some value out of money they've spent, whether recently or in the past, okay? Because a lot of these characters, like for example Hyperion, like Clea, Kid Kaiju, Killmonger, Wasp, Nadia Van Dyne, right? Like a lot of these characters are just kind of garbage, and obviously every Marvel character has a fan base, right? So some people will come in, they'll buy these characters, and then just find out that they're absolutely garbage. And honestly, where we are right now, I think it's a very good place where 90% of the characters in the game are free to play friendly. So like you get like 190 characters you can get completely for free. Sure, some of them require you to jump through hoops and hurdles. You gotta save crystals for what feels like a decade to buy a deluxe package if you want to get Moonstone or Magneto. However, it doesn't require you to put in any money. You can just save the crystals. It'll take forever, but you don't have to put in any money, right? Some of them require you to complete like a heroic quest or epic quest or what have you, but they're still free. And if you take a look at any meta tier list, 90% of the strongest characters in the game are completely free. So I think the game is in a very good place, okay? And as such, it would be nice to see people like Slapstick get a buff, right? So let me just say that. However, if you are coming back to the game and you're thinking about buying bio subs and all that stuff, let me just let you know right now, you don't need these characters, or at least you don't need most of them, okay? Most of them are not gonna do much for you besides like a Shadowland clear to get you an extra token or something like that. You don't need them, right? Like I just said, most of the strongest characters in the game are completely free. However, some of them will benefit you greatly to have. So let's talk about it. These are the ones I actually think still have some value. Like it ranges from like high tier end game content to like just being a support to just possibly being useful for conquest, okay? So number one is Gambit. I don't think anybody can debate that Gambit is now the best paywall character, the best bang for your buck in the game. You got to pick up the uniform though. For this guy, you get him, you get this uniform, you transcend him. He's now mowing down literally all the World Boss Ultimate stages. He's now mowing down World Boss Legends like they don't even matter. Gambit, absolutely a monster. So if you didn't have him and you are planning to buy a bio sub or something, Gambit should be your top pick. Now after that, it will get a little controversial, because some of you guys are gonna say, yo, you probably shouldn't put this character at number 2 because their damage is not the greatest. But what matters is their utility. I'm putting her as number 2, right? I'm putting Valkyrie, yes, Miss Valkyrie, the goddess herself, at number 2. Because she just offers so much value. For World Boss Legend, you can use her as a support. And honestly, where we are right now, the supports are lacking for World Boss Legend. And not even just that, dispatch mission, one of the best ways to farm resources for free in the game. Having Valkyrie on your team will do so much for you, giving you that extra damage to supervillains. But on top of that, the 30% ignore dodge goes a long way once you get past 8-1, when those guys are like level 72, level 73. If you know how Marvel Future Fight works, when you're a lower level than the enemies that you're fighting, they dodge a lot of your attacks. So having 30% ignore dodge in her tier 2 passive here, thanks to her uniform, is actually really good. It's super useful for Null because Null has really high dodge, and whenever we get more World Boss Legends in the future, they're probably gonna have high dodge as well, especially when we get a speed one, because speed characters generally have high dodge. So a character like Valkyrie, that's not only like a combat type, so for the speed World Boss Legend, she probably will do decent damage there, especially if you like do her type enhancement and whatnot, right? But having that 30% ignore dodge is so useful for so many different game modes, and she's also pretty useful for like squad battle and ABX. So I gotta put her in, guys, as like one of the top picks right behind Gambit for PvE content. Okay, gotta do it. So top 2, and then after that, I would say probably Carnage is number 3. Carnage is really good for World Boss Ultimate. He becomes more useful for World Boss Legend. You gotta pick up this uniform though, so number 3 is him. Number 4, I would say, is probably Luna Snow. She's kind of losing value, but you know she's the Marvel Future Fight love child. Come on now, you know that. So you know that summertime coming up, she might be getting a bikini or something like that to spice things up. I know she's not really like too often associated with the warmer weather, because you know Luna Snow, she the snow maker, right? The snow baby. But she's really good. Like super clutch with the heals. She's still pretty powerful. She's kind of falling off. At one point she was like the de facto best speed character in the game. I don't think it's that right now, but she's still pretty good. So not a bad pickup from the premium character selector or the daily growth support or whatever they want to call it. All right, next one is Namor. My guy is kind of falling quite a bit. It will be nice to see him get a uniform at some point, but he will be in Black Panther 2, so should get a uniform for that. Probably will still keep him as a villain, because I think he's gonna be a villain in that movie too. So yeah, Namor kind of falling off, but I think he's still one of the top picks here. So if you are thinking about picking up Namor, it's not a bad idea. For World Boss Legend, he does better without his Phoenix 5 uniform, right? So just keep that in mind. Look, in some situations he does better. Next ones I do want to talk about is going to be primarily for World Boss Ultimate. So the top ones that I just gave you, like Gambit, they're going to be good for all PvE content, like really high level stuff, right? But after that, it's really going to be like World Boss Ultimate, ABX, squad battle, support roles. That's where their value is really going to be. But these characters have a bright future ahead of them, especially this girl right here, Dazzler. And that's kind of why I'm hoping that Netmarble goes back and buff some of these like paywalls, because if we get Transcendence, we don't even need a uniform for Dazzler. If she just gets the ability to be transcended, you know how much stronger, you know how much more value you get out of Gambit? Bros, she has 70% ignore dodge on her support. This is absolutely nuts. And then 65% more damage to boss types. Bros, my guys, my friends, ladies. The de facto best CTP for Gambit is energy. So you're always gonna have like at least 30%. You put him with freaking Dazzler with 70%. Like against Null, who has high dodge, his dodge doesn't exist. And then your Gambit is now doing like 160% more damage because like, bro, he has no more dodge and you're doing 65% more damage to him because he's a boss type. You know how much more damage you get out of your Gambit? And then you know how much more damage you get out of your Cable? Like when this girl gets her Transcendence, her value is gonna go through the roof. But let's say you're still at like World Boss Ultimate level. She's still really good for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Quicksilver gonna go down super fast. Corvus Glaive gonna go down super fast. Anywhere you use your mutants, they're gonna be doing more damage. So honestly, I think Dazzler is one of the top picks here, and her future is bright. It is shining quite brightly, in my opinion. right? After that, Nick Fury. I think Nick Fury has a bright future. He just needs like his transcendence. He don't need a new uniform because he would immediately become like the de facto best support character for like your heroes, because you get 50% more all attack. You get his fifth skill buff with 80% all attack there, and then you get his super armor, 30% all defense, and 55% more damage to villains, bro. All he gotta do is slap on like 30% ignore dodge on Nick Fury and maybe some damage reduction, and then you're looking at like one of the most dangerous support characters ever. So yeah, I think Nick Fury super useful for squad battle, ABX, World Boss Ultimate, but his future is very bright. So if you're investing in these characters, look at their future, right? Any one of them that have like a support passive that's giving you a nice amount of like damage or damage reduction, just know when they get the ability to be transcended, it will take them to the next level. All right, this guy right here, he's only like really here because of his 4-star passive. If you play Alliance Conquest, this passive is super useful because the Warriors of the Sky basically come back to life with 50% of their max HP, and then they basically just get to spam their Awaken skill, and just by being able to come back, they can wipe out Silver Surfer, they can wipe out Sentry, they can wipe out Dormammu, they can wipe out Mephisto, right? The Warriors of the Sky, when put together in a team setting like with Blue Dragon and Shadow Shell, they're very powerful. So I gotta put this guy on here because of his 4-star passive. It's a decent investment for the future, and since these guys are like OC characters, you know what I'm saying, like at any point they can get uniform for no reason out of nowhere, right? Kitty Pryde, I'm only putting her on here because of squad battle. So if you like to use Rogue in squad battle or Deadpool or whatever, Kitty Pryde's leadership is the best thing for this day, or not this day, but like this category. So I usually use Kitty Pryde, Rogue, and then Nightcrawler for the team up, right? And with this team, you can get a decent amount of points if you care about squad battle, which you should, because that's how you get the Mandalay gem fragments and the Awakened crystals every single day, or whatever, right? So just keep that in mind. Kitty Pryde has use. She's not the best. She's not the best paywall, but she does have some value. Yelena I put here just because of the fact that she's pretty good for PvP, and she's one of the only paywalls that can really do PvP stuff. Like Netmarble usually creates like PvE paywalls, but she's one of the ones that can actually do PvP. Obviously, if she gets an Awakening, which was in the game files like months, actually years ago at this point, when the Black Widow movie actually drops, if she gets an Awakening, then we'll be talking about her even more. So we'll see what happens there. But her future is uncertain at this point. But she's still a pretty good character for like Conquest and some low tier PvP stuff. But if she gets the ability to be transcended anytime soon, we'll be talking more about her. I think she's pretty solid. Ghost Panther, really good for like Human Torch, who is one of the best characters in the game right now, or Ghost Rider. Really good. If you're playing World Boss Ultimate a lot, then yeah, I definitely think Ghost Panther is a top pickup. Icarus is actually a really strong character, even at level 60. Like, I'm using him on my free-to-play account. Yeah, a free-to-play account. I got a premium tier 2 selector. My choice was between him and Luna Snow. I picked him over Luna Snow. I don't regret anything. He just autos like tier 3 characters. Like, he's so strong for PvP, and he's gonna get a uniform in the future from his movie to make him even better. Philovel, I only put here because of her support passive. She's pretty good. If you want to, you can use her in PvP. I see a lot of people use her in PvP with Silver Surfer. I personally don't like that team setup because everything is reliant on the Surfer. If the Surfer dies, then yeah, he's like just game over for you. But I think Philovel is actually a really good support for like ABX and stuff, so I put her on here as a decent pickup. However, keep in mind you can get some bios for her from Epic Quest. Next up is Enchantress. Enchantress is really good if you are still playing World Boss Ultimate every single day. She's really good as a solo clear for like Ebony Maw, Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaives. She's gonna not do very well against Proxima and Thanos because she can't really crowd control Thanos like that, and then because she's an energy character, she's not gonna do too well against Proxima. But you can always use her as a leadership if you have this uniform. The only reason I'm putting her on here is because of this uniform, and summertime is coming up. So this is a Summer Days uniform. In a couple weeks, we could very well see this come back. in the next update, it could very well come back on sale. And if it does come back on sale, you should probably buy it, because chances are if they bring it back, they'll probably just give her like her transcendence or her awakening at that point in time too. And if that's the case, it'll be interesting to see how they buff her to make her like a viable character for World Boss Legend. Last and definitely the least on here is Baron Zemo. This guy is only useful for ABX and squad battle. ABX because he's the de facto best lead for speed villains, and as such, for squad battle, he's the best leadership for this day right here. Like, it's literally the only leadership that you can use. And again, the squad battle is very important. You want to be hitting over 800k, and if you can push for top 3 in squad battle, you should be pushing. All right, for me, I usually just play on auto. I don't really care, but like, yeah, he's the best lead for that particular slot if you're in the high tier squad battle. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, most of these paywalls you probably won't need, but actually I should talk about Morbius. I think Morbius is pretty good for World Boss Ultimate, and he's pretty fun to play, pretty safe, pretty strong. For a World Boss Legend, I haven't seen great things about him. I'll transcend mine at some point, because I do have his gears like situated in a spot where I could do that pretty easily. So I'll give you my final verdict on him for World Boss Legend, but in terms of World Boss Ultimate, I think he's a pretty solid pickup. He's one of the better ones in there, definitely, because he can heal, he has iframes, he has crowd control, right? A very, very strong character for World Boss Ultimate, but for Legend, I don't think he's going to do as well, right? So low tier on the list for me. Anyways, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're returning to the game, like I said, most of the strongest characters in the game are completely free, but there's some good options if you are willing to pay for them. I'll catch you guys. Deuces.